All right, so thank you, Canon Rumors, thank you. I had a video planned for today. It was all about the R5, and I was gonna compare the R5 to the other cameras in the Canon lineup, and I was gonna make a comparison, and the question was gonna be, is it worth upgrading to the R5, the EOS R5? But then Canon Rumors just came out with an EOS R5C, and that just threw a wrench into my plans because everything I scripted is now pretty much useless because there's a whole lot of cool information about this R5C, and for those of us who do video and photo hybrid shooters like me, I think this might be the perfect camera. So I'm gonna scrap my other video for now, and let's talk about the R5C. All right, so for those of you who don't know me, I'm Vasko. I'm a full-time photographer, videographer. I've been a full-time photographer since 2005. There's my informationals if you want to go check out my website and stuff. And I kind of like this. This is kind of cool lighting. I like it. And yeah, I'm distracted by lighting. Let's get back on topic. Okay, so all right, so here's the game plan for today. We're going to talk about, well, actually, we're going to say thank you to Sony. All right, then we're going to look at the R5 and the positives and negatives of the R5. Then we're going to look at the R5C Rumour, and then I'm going to talk about what I want to see in the R5C as a hybrid shooter. So that's the game plan for today. All right, so let's start off by saying thank you to Sony. Thank you very much for the R5C. Greatly appreciate it. Now, let me tell you what I mean by this. I've been a photographer for a long time. I opened my business in 2005, and I've been making money shooting pictures ever since, and I love this job. But here's the thing. You go back to like 2008, 2010, 2013, Canon and Nikon were kind of at the top of the mountain, and they were not innovating, they were not creating, they got complacent. Like, you'd have a 5D, and then 4 years later you'd have another 5D, and then 4 years later another 5D, and if you had a 1DX, it'd be like 8 years between new models. And it was just like they weren't creating, they weren't innovating. And if Sony didn't come on the market and really push the needle with their mirrorless technology, and Canon had mirrorless cameras like, you know what, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, they had mirrorless technology, and they never saw the future of it. And Sony came along, they saw the potential, they created the Alpha series, and Sony has stormed through the whole industry creating these amazing cameras, and it's forced Canon and Nikon to get innovative and get creative. So without Sony doing what they do, I don't think we would have had an R5, we wouldn't have an R, we wouldn't have an R5C for sure. So yeah, thank you to Sony for really pushing the needle. And obviously you and I, the consumers of these cameras, we're the ones benefiting from all this technology. Like, we have an R5 and then a year later an R5C. Like, that would have been unheard of back in the day. Canon would have waited 5 years before making another camera. So yeah, that's awesome. All right, so let's talk about the R5. Right now we're filming on the R5, and this is in 4K HQ. Is it sharp? Does it look sharp? It definitely looks sharp when I put it on the camera, but with YouTube compression, it kind of knocks it down a little bit. But if you deliver 4K HQ video to your clients, they'll definitely notice the quality, and they'll be like, wow. It's pretty impressive because it takes the 8K and shrinks it down to 4K. So it's super sharp, super crisp. So yeah, let's talk about the R5. When Canon announced the R5, they said, oh, it's got 8K, it's gonna revolutionize the industry, it's gonna be a game changer. We got 4K HQ, we got 4K 120 with dual pixel autofocus 2, so you can focus while doing slow-mo, 4K 60 and all this, you know, all these things on top of the fact that it's an amazing photo camera. We got 45 megapixels, we got the new RF lenses, we got dual pixel autofocus 2, dual card slots finally, and yeah, so on the photo side, I don't think I have to talk about the R5 as a photo camera because, in my opinion, as a photo camera, I think it's perfect. It is the best photo camera I have ever used. It's the best photo camera I think Canon has ever produced. And there's a good argument to be made that on the full frame market right now, it is the best photo camera out there. You can argue there's a couple other choices out there that could be the best, but I think the R5 is definitely up there with them. But yeah, let's talk about the video, because Canon came out and they really pushed the R5 as a video, and then it came out and everyone tested it and it overheated. So all of the good features in video, like 8K, 4K HQ, 4K 120, even 4K 60, it all overheated. So that was a disappointment, right? That was a big, I think a lot of people canceled their pre-orders on the R5 because obviously there was a delay in the camera coming out because of, you know, factories being closed and stuff like that. So a lot of people canceled the pre-orders saying, I can't work with this thing, it overheats. Now, obviously we know Canon came out with a firmware which made things a lot better, but they certainly aren't perfect. If you're doing YouTube stuff like this and you're shooting like short clips, it's fine. But if you're doing like long form kind of videos, I know I've done interviews with people and I have to watch my watch, and when I hit 25 minutes, I kind of like try and find a place where I can pause them and then hit the record, stop recording and record again, and then tell them to keep going. So that kind of sucks. So yeah, from a video perspective, the R5 left you wanting more, and it definitely left you kind of with a sour taste in your mouth, especially when you look back at how Canon marketed the R5. So it didn't really live up to expectations. But now with the R5C, things could be different. All right, let's change the perspective a little just to keep it a little more interesting, just a little interesting. Okay, so here's the thing. The R5C rumor, or Canon rumors just announced the R5C, and what we know about it so far is the fact that it's gonna be like an R5, but it's gonna be a cinema camera. It's gonna have active cooling, and that's about all we know. So what that means is there's gonna be a fan in it. So the fan is gonna cool down the camera so it can record for longer periods of time. Hopefully that record limit of 30 minutes is removed, because that's no bueno in 2021 when you don't need it, right? No cameras have that anymore except Canon's being stubborn. So hopefully that's gone. It's a cinema camera, so hopefully it's gone. So yeah, with the active cooling and no 30-minute record limit, we can record 8K, 4K HQ, 4K 120 for a lot longer, which would be amazing. And yeah, let's talk about some other things. Let's talk about things that I would like to see in the R5C. Hopefully, Canon takes this time to improve its sensor technology. And I don't mean like camera image sensor, I mean like heat sensors. So hopefully they put better heat sensors in the camera and distribute them accordingly, so the camera knows if it's overheating and it can sort of turn off or give you more accurate heat warnings and give you more, or can understand when it's cool enough to start recording again, instead of making you wait 3 hours or 4 hours, or whatever the case may be, which was just ridiculous. So hopefully that sensor technology is improved. I'm also wondering if Canon is going to go on the same path as the FX3, where they get rid of the EVF completely and just make it a flippy screen with the video capabilities, because that would be pretty cool. I know as a photographer, I like the EVF, I shoot with the EVF, but if it's an R5C and the C is for cinema camera, then I would probably use it for video more than anything. So if they got rid of the EVF, I wouldn't really care. Maybe 2 hot shoe mounts, so we can get a microphone up there, and maybe we can get something else mounted up there. That might be kind of cool. But yeah, that's the one thing. The other thing too would be if Canon is redesigning the body for this camera and there's a flip out screen, it'd be kind of cool if the audio jack and the HDMI jack and all those ports weren't in front of the flip screen, because I like having the flip screen. I like being able to vlog and hold up the camera and kind of see myself. But sometimes when you have the cage on there and then the ports and the plugs and everything, it's just like you can't even see the screen, so you got to add another screen on top, and that just adds to the bulk and the weight. So if they engineered some way to maybe put those plugs somewhere else, that would be really appreciated. Maybe put the SD cards, or actually that's another thing I want to talk about. Maybe put the card slots on the side of the screen. But yeah, let's talk about the card slots. You know what? I like the depth with the window in the background. It just makes the background seem a little further away. So yeah, let's talk about that. So we have a CF Express card slot and an SD card slot in the R5, and that's okay. But the problem with that is if you're shooting high quality video, let's say 8K, you can't record a backup to the other card, right? So if you're shooting weddings or some kind of important event or something, and you want to be able to have a backup as you're recording, you can't do that. So I know it's going to be more expensive for us, the end users, but I would personally like to see 2 CF Express card slots in the R5C, just so if we're shooting higher end video, we have a backup just in case. I'd also like to see better codec options, or more codec options, and maybe that Canon C-Log 3 would be great. I don't really want to see the body get bigger and bulkier. I personally was looking at the C70 and I was torn. I was like kind of debating C70 or A7S III. I didn't end up getting either one, but I was debating both. And I wanted to go with the A7S III route because it's smaller, it's more compact. You can just put it in your bag and go. And then when I saw the R5 and the C70 side by side, it's like the C70 is this massive camera. Like, it's gonna take up half your camera bag plus lenses and then the weight. And I know it's cool. It's got like the SDI and the built-in ND filters and all that stuff, and that, you know, I guess that's good, but at that point you might as well just buy a proper cinema camera, like if you're gonna go with that size, you know. And I really like the A7S III because it was small and compact and portable, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for with the R5C, is something that has good features but is still small and compact and portable, and you can carry it around. And a lot of people keep talking about how they want built-in ND filters in it. I know some people were saying they were disappointed when the FX3 didn't have built-in ND filters, but I don't know, you just screw it on the front. Like, what's the problem? Like, I'd rather have an ND filter on the front because it weighs a lot less than built-in NDs, which have to have a mechanism and a button and all this stuff to control it. It's like, forget all that stuff. Just put a variable ND on the front and there you go. Nice and easy, super simple. It looks a little dark. Let's light. There we go. So you can even adjust your exposure with the ND, which is super nice. And you can see the polarization taking out my monitor. But yeah, so those are the things I really want to see in the R5C. Fingers crossed. Let's see what happens. Either way, if it has active cooling and no record limit, I'd be happy. Those are the two big things for me, and everything else is just icing on the cake. So I don't usually make rumor videos, but since my video got kind of canceled off today, I figured might as well just talk about the R5C. And if you're new here and you're still watching, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this kind of content, if you enjoy watching me, hit that subscribe button. I don't know which side it's going to be on, but I would really appreciate it. Working hard to grow this channel. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it too. Would really appreciate that as well. And yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, there are my links. I'm really active on Twitter. I like posting stuff there. Instagram is going to be kind of my portfolio going forward. And yeah, that's that. If you like this kind of stuff, definitely subscribe. We're going to be talking more about photography, videography. We're going to do some gear tutorials. We're going to talk about some Photoshop tutorials, Premiere Pro tutorials, Lightroom tutorials, and all that kind of fun stuff. So if you're into that, you know what to do. Peace out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.